Attention passionate New York Giants fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the NFC East and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on New York Giants' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true New York Giants fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your friends and New York Giants fans. Let's get to the news. Hey, Giants fans, it's a roller coaster of a season so far, and if you've been following along, you know that the team is constantly in a state of flux, trying to find the right rhythm, the right players, and the right chemistry to push toward that elusive Super Bowl. But recent moves have put the spotlight squarely on some of the roster shuffles, and trust me, these are not just minor adjustments. They could have long-lasting implications for the Giants' future. So, let's break down what's been happening, what it means for the team, and how it could influence their chances as we move deeper into the season. First, let's talk about Xavier Gipson. The young wide receiver and kick returner, who was claimed off waivers from the Jets just a few weeks ago, has now found himself on the move again. Gipson, only 24 years old, came into the Giants organization with some promise, especially with his special teams ability and potential as a receiver. The Giants, in need of roster flexibility due to injuries and other roster concerns, made a move to waive him this past Saturday. It's a move that might seem minor on the surface, but when you look deeper, it's part of a bigger picture of roster management in a season filled with injuries and unexpected challenges. See, the Giants claimed Gipson back on September 11, when they needed reinforcements after a few key injuries, and he showed flashes of potential in limited opportunities. But with injuries mounting at other positions, especially on defense, and the need to make room for players who could contribute immediately, the team decided to waive Gipson. The interesting part here is that Gipson was claimed by the Eagles shortly after he was waived by the Giants, which underscores how quickly NFL teams are circling for these young talents. The Eagles, a division rival, clearly saw something in Gipson that they wanted to add to their roster, perhaps for their special teams or as a situational receiver, which just adds a layer of intrigue to this roster shuffle. Now, the Giants' plan was probably to pass Gipson through waivers and then re-sign him to their practice squad, a common strategy for teams trying to develop young players without losing them entirely. But as we've seen in the past, that doesn't always work out. For instance, a few weeks back, the Giants cut 7th-round pick Corey Black, and rather than sticking around on the practice squad with the Giants, Black chose to sign with the Jets' practice squad. That's a reminder of how competitive and fluid this roster game is. Players, especially young ones like Gipson, are always weighing their options and seeking the best opportunities for playing time and growth. But what about the impact on the Giants? Losing Gipson means one less option for the return game and a young receiver with upside. It also highlights how the team is prioritizing players who can contribute immediately on special teams and in specific situations. And honestly, it's a testament to how tight the margins are at this stage of the season. Every roster move is a calculated risk. Do you hold on to someone with potential, or do you make room for someone who can help right now? Meanwhile, on the defensive side, the Giants have been dealing with their own roster shuffles. With Chauncey Golston out with an ankle injury, and several inside linebackers sidelined due to injuries, the team brought in Tomon Fox to fill in. Fox, a fourth-year undrafted free agent, had seen limited action, just 14 defensive snaps and 19 special teams snaps against the Chiefs last Sunday. That's not much, but it's enough to get a sense of his role in the defense and special teams units. The Giants, as you know, have been hit hard at linebacker, with Micah McFadden and Chris Borden already on injured reserve, and Darius Muasau missing the game with a concussion and an eye injury. Demetrius Flannigan-Fowles has also been out with a calf injury, further thinning the linebacker core. Considering all this, the Giants moved quickly to add depth by waiving Fox on Monday, likely hoping he'll clear waivers so they can re-sign him to the practice squad. That's a typical move. Bring a player in when needed, then see if he clears waivers to keep him around as an option for future games. The team also worked out 4 linebackers on Monday, including a veteran named Summers, who played 16 games with 2 starts last season. He was placed on injured reserve, but then waived with an injury settlement, so the Giants are clearly trying to evaluate their options and find the right mix of players to fill those linebacker spots. It's worth mentioning that the Giants have been heavily impacted by injuries this season, especially at linebacker. Micah McFadden and Chris Borden are on IR, and Muasau and Flanagan Fowles have missed significant time. These injuries have tested the depth of the roster, and we're seeing younger players and practice squad guys being called up to fill those gaps. It's a testament to the resilience of the team and the coaching staff's ability to adapt on the fly. Now, if we look at the bigger picture, these roster moves highlight a team in flux, but also one that's still fighting to stay afloat and compete at a high level. The Giants have shown flashes of brilliance this season, especially on defense where players like Dexter Lawrence, Kayvon Thibodeaux, and Xavier McKinney have been standouts. Offensively, Daniel Jones continues to be the leader, trying to improve his consistency and help the team put more points on the board. But injuries and roster adjustments are part of the game, and the key for the Giants is how well they can adapt and develop young talent while pushing for wins. The NFC East is a division that's been unpredictable so far. Teams like the Eagles and Cowboys have been dominant at different times, and the Giants need every advantage they can get to climb back into the playoff picture. These roster decisions, while sometimes viewed as minor or temporary, can have ripple effects, affecting team chemistry, player morale, and even the draft position if the team ends up losing close games due to these roster issues. And speaking of the division, the Eagles, who recently claimed Gibson off waivers, are showing how aggressive they are in acquiring talent. They're not hesitating to make moves, and that's something the Giants will have to counter. The Eagles are already considered one of the top teams in the NFC, with a potent offense led by Jalen Hurts and a stout defense. Their special teams have also been solid, and now adding someone like Gibson, who can contribute in multiple ways, makes them even more dangerous. The Giants, on the other hand, are trying to find their identity amidst these injuries and roster shuffles, but the core of the team remains talented and capable of turning things around. Let's not forget that the Giants have a strong foundation, especially with their young core of players. Dexter Lawrence has been an absolute beast on the defensive line, providing pressure and disruption in the middle. Kayvon Thibodeaux is starting to live up to his potential as a pass rusher, and Xavier McKinney, when healthy, is a key part of that secondary. Daniel Jones, despite some ups and downs, continues to show leadership and a desire to elevate his game. The coaching staff, under Brian Daboll, has been excellent at maximizing what they have, but it's clear that roster depth and injury management will be critical as they push toward the second half of the season. Now, you might be wondering about the bigger implications of these moves. Well, it's all about roster flexibility and strategic planning. The Giants are clearly trying to keep their options open, especially at linebacker, where injuries have decimated their depth. The fact that they're working out multiple players indicates they're not content with their current options and are actively seeking upgrades or reinforcements that can come in and make an immediate impact. It's a smart approach, especially in a season where every game counts and the margin for error is razor-thin. And finally, I want to emphasize that, despite all these roster shuffles and injuries, the Giants still have a lot to play for. They have a talented core, a dedicated coaching staff, and a fan base that's hungry for success. It's these challenging moments that test a team's resilience and character. The season isn't over, and the Giants have shown time and time again that they're capable of overcoming adversity. The key is how well they can stay healthy, make the right moves, and continue to develop their young players. The NFC East remains a competitive division, but with strategic roster management and a little bit of luck, the Giants can still make a run and give their fans something to cheer about. So, as we keep watching these developments unfold, remember that every move, every injury, and every roster decision is part of a bigger story, one about a team fighting to reclaim its place among the NFL's elite. And you, the fans, are the backbone of that story. Your passion, your support, and your voice matter. Keep cheering, keep believing, and stay tuned because there's plenty more to come from the New York Giants. We'll be here every step of the way, bringing you the latest updates, analysis, and insights. This isn't just a team, it's a family, and together we'll see how this season unfolds, no matter what challenges come our way. Pause here just for a second. If you want the YouTube algorithm to keep recommending the latest New York Giants news to you, it's super important that you leave a like on this video. Go ahead, it's quick and it makes a big difference. Thank you. Now let us continue with the big reveal. And now, New York Giants fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on these roster moves? Do you think the team is heading in the right direction? Are you confident that these adjustments will help them turn the season around? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the Giants. Remember, every comment, every piece of feedback helps build this community stronger. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, more analysis, and more behind-the-scenes insights. So stay tuned, stay passionate, and let's see what the future holds for this resilient and fighting Giants team. Thanks for watching, and as always, keep the faith alive. Go Giants!